From the minute that you wake up to the time that you go back to sleep, you're already stressing about stuff that needs to be done at home, stuff that needs to be done at work, not to mention all of the stresses that you had from yesterday. If this is your life, you need to hear this. Hey, what's going on, everybody? Michael A. Benton here, and on this channel, I focus on giving men the knowledge and the tools needed to help control the lives that they desire. If you're a man looking to better himself, subscribe to my channel, hit the bell to be notified when I post a new video every week. All right, so before I get into my first point, let me take you through a typical day for your average male, okay? Now, again, this applies to any male. So whether you're single or you're married or you're divorced or you have kids, you don't have kids, we all have stressors in our life, whether they're gonna be at home or they're gonna be at work or finances, relationships, whatever the case may be, we all have stressors, right? So this relates to everyone. But I'm going to use my past as an example because I think a lot of folks that are watching this are probably in the same boat, or at least were. So a typical day in the life of a male when it comes to stress, right? So you wake up, and as I mentioned, you're already feeling stressed because of the stuff you dealt with the night before. Maybe that wasn't resolved or handled. You're stressing about what needs to be done today at home, what also needs to be done at work, right? And then let's say you get up, you get dressed, you go about your day as far as, brushing your teeth, taking a shower, getting yourself some breakfast. You see your kids for, 2 minutes, if you even see your kids in the morning, and then you're off to work. And now you're at work and you're dealing with the stresses at work, right? Your boss is on your ass because projects need to be done on a timely manner. Jobs haven't been completed from the day before. You got more jobs coming up. There's deadlines, and so on and so forth, right? So now you're dealing with those stressors. Now you're driving home, and only thing you can think of is the stuff that you haven't gotten done or the stresses from work. You get home, as soon as you get home, if you have kids, they run to the door, daddy, 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 and you don't have any time to decompress, right? So you're already stressed from work. Your kids bombard you right away, or maybe your wife bombards you. And immediately they're already asking you for things. They're asking you, Dad, can you take me to the park? Can you buy me this? I need this. Your wife is like, hey babe, how's it going? Hey, can you finish the project with the stairs? Or can you finish the thing you're gonna build out in the garage? Like, you're already being bombarded, right? So now you have work stress. You come home, you have immediate stress from the household, right? And then this is what you find yourself doing. A lot of you guys are doing this, and I think it's important too that we talk about positive ways in which we can decompress when we get home. But this is why you find guys that will go watch TV, they will drink, right? Or they will remove themselves from the household. Maybe they'll go to the garage, maybe they have a man cave in the basement, maybe they'll go to the bar before they even get home or even after they get home. Whatever the case may be, this is why men are doing these things, because they have no way to decompress. They haven't found a positive way to decompress, okay? And then let's say you end up spending a little bit of time with your kids. It's time for bed already, and you're maybe you want some affection from your wife, and she's just not giving it to you. So now you feel even more stressed out about that. And you go to bed and you do it all over again. That is typically, probably, I'm just gonna go out there and say, 85% of men out there, in some form or fashion, that's kind of the stressors that they're dealing with. So that brings me to my first point. All right, so look, I wanted to come from a different point of view when it comes to dealing with stress. There's thousands of videos out there that you can watch that will tell you about tips and tricks and techniques that you can use to manage that stress. But again, I wanted to come from more of a mindset perspective, because I think that there is a large misunderstanding as to the things that we think and the things that we feel. We think they're coming from the circumstances that we're dealing with, when that's not the case. So first off, I would say that the reason why you're feeling stressed, some of you guys are allowing it, right? A lot of you guys are kind of just like coping with it, like you're dealing with it as if it's a normal thing, and this is supposed to happen in life, and it kind of is what it is. But I'm here to tell you, man, like that's the wrong thinking. That's the wrong mind frame, the mindset that you want to have. All that being said, the reason why you're feeling stressed is because you haven't been able to manage your mind. You haven't learned that It's not your circumstances that dictate how you feel. It's your thoughts about those circumstances that dictate how you feel. So in my coaching classes, I teach my clients, it's called the model, right? And so basically it teaches them that, listen, it's not the circumstances that you're dealing with is the reason why you're feeling such a way and the reason why you're getting the results that you're getting. So this is how it works when it comes to stress. So if you're being stressed, let's just say at home because, I don't know, your wife is nagging on you about finances or whatever else, or she doesn't like the job that you're at. It's not that she's nagging at you about, the job or the money. It's your thoughts that you're having about her nagging at you about the money and the job that you have, right? So your thoughts create how you feel. The way you feel creates the actions that you will take, and your actions will dictate the results that you get. So I think that's hugely important for you guys to understand that no matter what situation or circumstance you find yourself in, whether it's stressing you out or it's giving you anxiety or you're starting to develop depression, whatever the case may be, you have to understand that it's not the situation or circumstance. It's how you're thinking about it. So once you're able to learn that and kind of understand that philosophy, now you can start to take back control and overcome that stress or minimize that stress when you feel it coming up. And that goes back to, having certain thoughts. If you have, let's say, you're stressing out about work because you have such a large workload, right? And you're starting to feel stressed because your thoughts are, man, I got a lot to do. I don't have enough time to do it. I don't have any support or help. My manager's always on my case. I'm going to get written up. They're probably going to fire me because I don't do enough, job on time or efficiency. Those thoughts are then going to create how you feel. So from those thoughts, you're going to feel stressed, anxiety, upset, anger, right? Devalued. So again, start with your thoughts. So again, when you find yourself in a situation, whether you're at home or you're at work or wherever, and you're starting to feel that I'm starting to feel stress or anxiety, take a moment, take a deep breath, take 3 deep breaths, okay? Take 3 deep breaths and then just be self-aware of what you're thinking. So if you feel yourself feeling stress or anxiety, stop and think, okay, why am I feeling stress? Why do I feel that that's coming on? What am I thinking about? Then you're going to start to realize, okay, this is the thought I was having. I'm having this thought and it's making me feel this way. When you can start doing that on a regular basis and you start creating more self-awareness for yourself, I'm telling you, it's going to change your life. It's a game changer. It's going to take a minute for you to, it's something new. So it's going to take a minute for you to kind of adapt to being more self-aware and kind of, stopping yourself in the moment. But once you do that, you're going to be able to not only eliminate the stress, but you're going to be able to minimize it, right? Stop it from happening further prolonged periods. And then when you get to a point where you've been doing this for, multiple years, you're going to get to a point where you can just, stress may come up, you can have a new thought, stress is gone, right? So I think it's important for you guys to understand that stress is coming from your mindset. It's coming from your thoughts. It's not coming from the actual situation or circumstance that you're dealing with. All right, I think the next thing that's important to talk about is what happens if you don't handle the stress? Like what happens if you don't, get on top of this thing and get it corrected or find some measure to, minimize the stress that you're putting on yourself? What are the long-term effects? Clearly, the number one long-term effect of stress is going to be your health, right? So, high blood pressure goes up, potentially set yourself up for heart attacks and strokes and things of that nature. So there's going to be a lot of heart issues. So clearly that's a problem in itself. But again, if your stress is not properly managed or taken care of, health-wise, that's where you're probably going to see yourself, especially if it's over a prolonged period. And for those guys that are really in a high stressful situation. So those that are CEOs that have really large responsibilities, right? They're going to find themselves in more larger stressor situations. So health is an area that, if it's not taken care of, it can be affected because of the stress. Also, too, it's going to affect your relationships, whether you're with the spouse or your girlfriend or family members or friends. Like, you're going to end up finding yourself kind of being like an introvert, where you're shelling away from, society, right? And you're either staying home a lot of the times, right? Or you're finding yourself, you're isolating and you're drinking or you're doing drugs, or you're finding yourself getting addicted to certain things, right? To help yourself escape from those stressors. Porn is a huge one, right? That people kind of get addicted to kind of get their mind away from the norm, right? Drugs, alcohol, obviously is two big factors in there. And then when it comes to like your career, like prolonged stress, you're going to end up probably clashing heads with your manager, your other peers. You may end up losing your job. You may end up getting fired. Like, all of these things are a direct effect because of stress, and if it's not handled properly. So I think that, we need to understand that for those that it may not seem like a big deal, because maybe you've probably been dealing with stress for a long time, and you feel that it's somewhat manageable. You can manage it. It hasn't gotten to the point where you're like gone super crazy. But I'm telling you, like, I've been in that situation where, as I mentioned before, I've become accustomed to it, right? Like, I was just like, oh, this is just part of life. I'll just deal with it as best as I can. I'll ignore my children. I've done that, ignored my children as much as I could, just so I didn't have any more added stress, and I've hung out with friends more than I hung out at the house. And so if you're not taking care of it, if you don't get a handle on it, it will have some effects that's going to be detrimental to, whatever areas that, that you're dealing with. So be sure to get it handled. Be sure to find ways to, I wouldn't use the word cope. I don't like the word cope with things. I think that you could manage it. And there's ways that you can overcome it too as well. So take a look at some of those videos that offer techniques. Some of those are really good, helpful ways to help you kind of deal and delegate with the stress. Hey, quick question for you guys. Please put your answers in the comments below. But what kind of stressors are you dealing with now? All right, and so the last point that I wanted to make in this video is really finding more positive ways to decompress when you get home, and dealing with work stress and having to deal with home stress. I think a lot of you guys have found probably negative ways to deal with your stress. You may not be aware of it, but it's turning into something negative, especially if it's prolonged. So, like, again, drinking and doing drugs, or separating yourself from your family, or even friends and society in general. So, what are some more positive ways that we can learn to decompress, and give us a moment that's not going to be detrimental to our health or our relationships? So let's kind of think of some of these off the whim. So one thing that you can do is instead of segregating yourself and going into the garage for the rest of the night, or running down to your man cave, I think that's still a good idea. I think that you can still, tell your wife, hey, I need, give me 20 minutes, and maybe you go just take a nice long bath, right? Maybe you go take a nice long shower. Maybe you go sit in your man cave, and it's just dark. You just sit in your chair and you just relax. Don't turn on no TV. Don't take any drinks or anything like that. Just sit in peace and relax. Okay, more positive and less harmful on your body and your health than, again, drinking a substance or something like that. So that's one way that can help you decompress when you get to the household. For me, I'll be honest, like when I was kind of going through this with my spouse at the time, I would need time to like truly decompress. Like when I got home, I did not want to be bombarded at the door. I would always at least give me 20 minutes. I would go to my room. I would, take my clothes off. I'd go take a shower, and I would just relax. I wouldn't try to think about anything other than what was in that present moment. But that's just kind of what I did that helped me decompress in more of in a positive way. For those of you guys that utilize a substance, right? So whether it's drinking or it's drugs or something like that, a positive alternative to that could be, I don't know, a healthy snack, right? Or it could be maybe you need to go for a walk and get out in nature, right? And breathe a little bit. So instead of realizing, or, instead of, relying on a substance to mentally take your mind off of what it is that you're dealing with, the stressors, do that within nature, right? And so go for a walk, hit the treadmill, get on the treadmill for 5 or 10 minutes and just, again, get your mind mentally, kind of just relaxed and ramping down from the day. So those are just a couple of positive things that you can do instead of the negative ones that will lead to long-term effects. Again, I'm not going to go into tips and tricks. There's other videos for that, but I would say if you are doing something that is detrimental to your health or your relationships, be self-aware of that. Know that it's going to turn into a big problem if it's prolonged. So just do something else. Try something else that will give you the relief that you're looking for, instead of harming yourself or those around you. As a certified life coach, I have clients that are struggling in this same exact area, right? Where they're thinking that their circumstances is what's causing them to be stressed when it's not. And so, we work together to help them move beyond their roadblocks. So if there's something that you're dealing with outside of stressors that is kind of keeping you from becoming the man that you want to be, I truly urge you to reach out to me and let's have a conversation in regards to seeing if coaching is going to be a good fit for you. Also, too, I want to offer, I do have a free ebook for those of you that are in the self-development world, in the journey, and you're wanting to better yourself. This is a way for you to kind of get started on that path. So it's a free workbook. I'll put the link in the description below, but please go ahead and get that. Hey, if you guys like this video, hit the like button, subscribe, share it with your friends, and as always, we'll see you on the next one.